The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, this is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from MetalCloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay. I think it's been a day. How about you? How you doing?
Well, it's good, but we also have Rockstar Jeep girl Jessy here. I'm got a frog in my throat as I'm talking. So,
it's that
Jessy, how you doing,
blowing
sweetie?
all the crap in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, there's no crap around here. It's just me.
Yeah, we have a winter weather advisory again, and I had to go to town this morning. Our buddies at Willie Fabrication had Jimmy doing some welding for me on Funshine, putting some Max axle tabs on her axles. I got to tell you, and I put up a story, really quick one this morning on ModernJeeper.com regarding some of Max tie down stuff. Those guys have been helping us out for years. I've known Colin for years, and tying a Jeep down to a trailer, especially the new JLs. I haven't, the Gladiator, I'm sure the front end is exactly the same, but there is just not really a good spot to put an axle strap around the JL front axle.
And when it's wet and frozen and trying to get it off, it's super fun.
Yeah. Those variables. Yeah, because I've done it all the time, but I didn't have wet and frozen and try to get it off.
After winter 4x4 Jamboree, coming back with her Jeep on the CTI trailer, it was, literally the straps were just kind of molded to the axles. And anyways, I took the Jeep to town this morning. Jimmy welded those tabs on for me. And it was funny because there was a couple of other guys there at the shop that have cattle. And this is also a calving time of year on the western slope of Colorado. It's also freezing cold and snowing and miserable outside. So these guys I was hearing story after story about how the struggles are with calving this time of year, and how difficult it is to keep the little calves alive when it's 20 degrees outside.
It's cold.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're coming out, and I mean, let's call it a shock. I mean, let's listen. It's probably the only time of the year they don't mind putting their arms inside of something and just try and help pull it out because it's nice and warm in there. I just saw Empire Strikes Back the other day again, and the scene where he crawls inside of the belly of the beast, right? But it's got to be shocking. I mean, it's one thing to be pulled out into this world from all the warmth and comfort of your Madre, but to all of a sudden be out here and be in this freezing cold. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we talk about how we don't want to go outside right now because it's kind of miserable out there. But these guys that are ranchers and farmers and that kind of thing, that just hearing their stories, I'm just kind of sitting there in the shop going, okay, so maybe life isn't that bad.
No, it's never a dull moment when you're farming, especially with animals.
Yeah.
Just watch a few episodes of Yellowstone and you kind of go, yeah, I kind of suck.
Yeah. I mean,
my kids have been struggling today, and I might have to go pick up my kid from school early because he's getting suspended. Like that's like, you talk about third world problems, but those are, these are first world. This is like, urban versus, the real world problems. The guys, and this is, and let's go back. I won't get political, but it is those real people that live on the plains, the real people that actually have to work for their food, work for their daily bread, work for the things they do, take care of stuff because the city isn't there taking care of for it, right? That's what fears Washington the most. Washington doesn't like those people. Washington doesn't like people that don't depend on you. Doesn't like people that can go, because there's nobody there who would understand what it's like to go, what do you mean you're going to go out and live with the cattle for a few days because that's important and you're not going to have a tent? And what do you mean? Why would you do that? Like, they don't understand it. But anyway.
No, the story of he burned up two full his diesel pickup. He went through 2 tanks of fuel in 3 days, and he didn't drive but 3 miles.
Just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Back and forth, and keeping it warm. So they'd go out and they'd birth these cattle, and then he'd go sit in the truck, and the truck was running all the time. And out of 50 head of cattle, out of 50 pregnant head of cattle,
50 pregnant head.
Yeah, 9.
Wow. How many cattle
had
does he have?
twins. 9 had twins.
Wow.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Twin cow. Yeah, that's something that's genetically weird.
That's a lot of cattle.
Any Monsanto seed around here?
Yeah.
Man, that's funny.
Yeah.
So that was your morning.
But yeah. And of course,
well, ladies and gentlemen, the Modern Jeeper Show, we talk about cattle.
Yes.
Right.
It's a lot of
No, it's
cattle
not the
out
Modern
here.
Sheep Herder. That's the other channel.
See, it's just proof you can be schooled and educated. Go down to your local shop, your off-road shop, the people who do your work, hang out down there, bother them, pay them for their time. But it's amazing the things you can learn from being around other people rather than like we typically do when we're home. We hibernate, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is we remember the old idea of going hang out your little local store or your local barber shop or whatever, and just sitting down there or the local bar and just hanging out and talking to people, right? It's like you just don't do that anymore. I know I don't. I'm like,
Or
I
your
go
local gas
home, I go to
station with
work, I
your
go to
own
home.
People corner.
Well, yeah. Look, where do we get our information now? It's from whatever media and social media and all of that influence. It's whatever they want us to hear.
Right. This is our town square, right? I mean,
yeah,
this is the town whereas the real town square was a place you went and sat and actually talked to people and met new people and did things. But
that's right. Crazy.
Yeah. It's too easy to just hibernate within the digital world.
Well, it's a good thing that this week our guests are a little bit beyond that TikTok age group.
they're you guys can't see them. We can see them. They're shaking their heads no. But yeah, so what else? So what do you got? You got this going on here. You just did that. Next week is Death Valley. Is that like?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, and so Death Valley's coming up, and of course, our good friend Mr. Del Albright. Rumors are true. He actually has a JK now, a 4-door JK. Which
I won't believe it till I actually see him driving it.
I saw the pictures of it.
He
called last night. Pictures of him in it. I just saw pictures of it.
Well, I think he's kind of like, there's all these buttons and there's things and it does so much different. Yeah. So we've been talking a lot in since last night when he called. Our trips to Death Valley are going to be unique, guaranteed. We're probably going to do some different things, even what I had different than what I had planned. So hopefully it'll be warmer. I hope.
We just got to remind Del that he's now got a big ass because he's not used to that.
No. And this push button locker thing, and there's like different gears, and he has like an overdrive button. He doesn't know what any of that stuff is.
So we'll have to have a skills day for Del.
Skills day.
New JK owner skills day.
It's also an automatic, right? I mean, was is red a stick or an automatic?
It's automatic.
It red as an automatic?
It was an automatic.
It was okay. So he's used to that laziness. Okay. Yeah, I get it. All right. Well, then we just did ORW's open house on Saturday.
Right.
So Off-Road Warehouse. Greg Adler and his team came out and visited us, and we went out to the Reno show on Saturday. I was out there for the day and did the CTI trailer. And the cool thing was the local media was there, right?
Yeah.
It's Reno. It's Sparks. A store opens and it's like, woohoo, big news. Right. Out here it would happen and people would just be like, what, whatever, what, not a murder, not a rape. What are we not going to cover it? So they get out there and they covered it. And there's actually this like 30-second package about the opening, and you see the guys and Mike's in there and a few others are in there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
and
for
the
sure.
CTI trailer. So yeah, it was fun to go do that. Anyway, I guess we should get on to our guests, since really it's about the next event coming up, which is really just, you're doing Death Valley right around the same time, right after this event, actually.
Yeah.
So Tierra del Sol is coming up, and with us today on our guests are David Howell and Bill. Is it Kessler?
Kessler.
Bill Kessler. Now, David and Bill are longtime TDS guys, longtime Tierra del Sol members. And we just want to bring them on and talk about it, because we haven't really done that. Like, we haven't really done a lot of the big events. We've done some of the, like we've had the guys from Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion on there, but we haven't really brought event guys on to come up and talk about event and TDS is a big deal. I mean, let's face it, it's a big deal. 60th anniversary. It's a little different now though. So we wanted to bring these guys on to talk about what it is, how it's changed, what it's evolved to, and what the future of Tierra del Sol is going to be. So David and Bill, welcome.
Hey,
Thank you.
Before we get started, I wanted to go over and just kind of introduce yourself and what your role has been with TDS, how long you've been a member of the club, where you're at locally and all that good stuff. Go ahead and start with you, David.
Hey, thanks for having us. Like I said, David Howell here. I'm actually one of the newer members, right? So I became a member about a year ago, an official member, but I was a guest for about 4 to 5 years. And I got involved with the Tierra del Sol group because I've been going to ACA-TOLs for 25 years with my kid and just riding out there dirt bikes, and an avid dirt bike rider and an avid Jeeper. So it's I spend a lot of time out there trying to get both adventures in. And so one time we were out there, we noticed all the trash around after the desert safari, and so my wife and I, we stayed on Sunday, just started picking up trash all over the place. And then we thought, what can we do to help this out? And so we started looking into the Tierra del Sol and the safari, and I found out that it's actually located in the town of Lakeside, California. That's where most of them are located. So it's real easy for me to start popping down there about 2 miles away from my house and going to meetings and getting to know everybody. So and subsequently, the following years, we always join the trash pickup and try to get more people to spread the word about not littering. And so that's how I became and part of Tierra del Sol and the group. And they have me in now as one of the board members in a short few times, and we're just working hard to try to do the right thing. So out here in sunny California, here in San Diego.
Beautiful. Well, your tag on the podcast, right? It says David Howell, says Bluebell/PA.
Oh yeah, I'm at work, so it's coming off of my work computer.
Okay.
Otherwise, I couldn't get out of the office fast enough. So couldn't get out of the office fast enough. But that's our corporate headquarters.
That's cool. I was gonna say, well, Pennsylvania, huh? That's dedication. Yeah, we just go out there. We hop in, we fly out, hop in the Jeep, drive up, talk deals. Bill, how about you?
Well, I'm the current president of Tierra del Sol, and my wife and I have been members since 2006. We've been hanging out with the club since about 2002, 2003, and helping out with Safari. We liked what they did for Safari, so we looked more into the club. What we saw was, our club is a do club. Our members do. And it scared us a little bit, of course, that's a big commitment, but we took it on because we really believed in what Safari does for the off-road community. I mean, Tierra del Sol gives away a lot of money to keep land open, and that's our mission, our purpose, and our drive. So, before that, I've been in a Jeep since I was 8 years old with my uncle, and I've had motorcycles and, off-roader since I was a kid, so I've been around a while, and I am in San Diego, more specifically Chula Vista, which is a little closer to the border. And it is not so sunny today. It's going to be raining pretty soon.
Great. Well, that's awesome. So, David, back to you. So, you mentioned Jeeping. Like, what was your first Jeep?
I still have it. I actually have a 2000 TJ. It's my first Jeep, automatic.
Oh, nice.
So bought that, lifted it, and had that for about 8 years. But always wanted a little more room, right? So and I wanted to get lockers and kind of be able to go on some harder trails and do some different things. I felt that was a little bit limited, so I actually have I drive mostly a 2017 Rubicon now, so which has been nice. I got it lifted and some 35s on it, so we really enjoy that, my wife and I, and she drives it sometimes, but she's more of a passenger. So got 2 Jeeps actually in my driveway.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Bill? What was your first Jeep?
Well, our first one was a 2002 Wrangler Sport because we thought it would be a great tow vehicle for our motorhome. lo and behold, did we find out that a Jeep will open up the world to everybody. You know, I mean, we've met so many friends, of course, not just because of the club, but because of that Jeep, you know. And then, of course, the Rubicons came out, and we saw what they could do, and we had to have one. So we bought our second Jeep Rubicon in 2004, and had that. We have that till today. We still have it, but we've had XJs, we've had WJs. I've had a newer Cherokee. We like Jeeps.
Nice. Well, hey, we're all celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Rubicon right now too, which is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Great story about them. Have we done a Modern Jeeper story, Corey, on the history of the Rubicon?
We haven't, and I've seen some of the social media stuff about it, and I was kind of wanting to let some of that die down and stuff. It's kind of I typically like to get a little bit behind it. If I can't be in front of it, I want to wait a little bit till it dies out a little bit. So, but yeah, really cool.
You don't want to be walking directly behind the horse. I get it.
That's right.
So you guys are making me feel old. My Jeep is close to 20 years old,
yep.
Yeah, gosh.
Well, you know, you need to do, Corey. You need to reach out. This is a goal now. We need to reach out and get a couple of those guys on the team here. Get them on the podcast. Let's let them tell their story.
Well, Bill, my first Jeep, my second Jeep, the first Jeep never really had a name. I wasn't really a Jeeper then, but my 2002 TJ Spike was still probably one of my favorite Jeeps of all time, and then ended up with my LJ, and I mean our garage is pretty dysfunctional. We have one of each. So there's a TJ, or there's an LJ, a JL, a JT, and a JK all in the garage, and that's that's yeah.
That's okay.
I want more.
You're a lucky man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So now, obviously, we all know Tierra del Sol Desert Safari, which is the official name of the event.
Yep.
But what else does Tierra del Sol as a club do besides the Desert Safari?
We're an eating club with a Jeep problem. That's basically what we are.
Right.
We are a social club, and it revolves around wheeling, and we do, at least once a run once a month. COVID has screwed all that up, but we're back to it. We have a bunch of runs on our calendars, some 2 a month, and they range from a street ride all the way to, a Devil's Canyon run where you have to have a casual attitude towards body damage.
Isn't that true that's like the Ocotillo Wells thing? It's okay. Body damage is part of your signature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stole that from our club member, Bo Neese, by the way. That's his hat.
Nice.
Say the other thing that we do is we help do trail cleanups. I think that's something we do a couple of those a year. We get together with other off-road like SDRC and Corva, and then we go out there and clean trails, pick up trash, clean brush away to keep it safe. I think what's really cool about Tierra del Sol is the history of what they've done for the community here in San Diego and Truck Haven out there. Is some of our best trails and best rides have started way back in the day when guys like Bill and Dave Londo and Bo went out there and cut the trails. I was with Bill a couple months ago. We were up at Coral Canyon off road, and they were instrumental in making it what is today a place where everybody can go and enjoy and to hear the stories of them ripping out stumps and chaining them up and pulling them out. I think it's pretty neat. So we've got Adopt a Trail up there, and we go up there, and I think we're getting another one here real soon in April to go out there and clean trails and keep it open and safe for everybody.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's a great thing for all of our listeners. If you're not a member of a club, it's not just about going out wheeling. It's not just a social gathering. Most clubs have some sort of mission, and the best clubs do. They have a mission. They have a responsibility. They have many times an Adopt a Trail. Here in California, especially, a lot of different clubs that have taken on a particular trail in their region they're going to keep it clean, because if we don't keep it clean, then the eco-terrorists we talked about last week's episode like to come in and close it down. So we try to work together with everybody, and that's one of the ways to do it. Is that as environmentalists ourselves, is keep those trails clean. Yeah. So that's awesome. It's amazing. Now, a little bit history of TDS. How old is the club itself?
Well, I'll give you the complete history. You know, the club started out of when these guys were coming back from World War II, and they had this incredible machine, the Jeep, and you know, a lot of people enjoyed those. So the club is a direct descendant from a search and rescue, you know, team, and I forget what the name of it is. It's the I'll think of it in a minute. Sorry, it wasn't on my mind, but it's the man, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't get it out. Sorry.
Okay.
So anyway, it's basically a civil air patrol. That's what it was. Civil air.
Oh,
patrol.
okay. Yeah.
So they were, you know, search and rescue. They ran around in the deserts, and they liked it so much they started doing it. And that was in the late 50s, around 58, 59. And some of the guys started hanging out, just going wheeling for fun. And the club was incorporated in 1962.
Oh, wow.
It's a year older than I am, and I do watch TikTok. So,
All right. What's your favorite TikTok channel?
oh, I don't know, probably Joe's Peppy, the truck driver. Oh, boy.
You know, TikTok is just, it is exactly that. The time just keeps wasting as you're on it, because
Right.
I have used it to my advantage, being in a doctor's office where I had an hour's wait, and boy, it went by fast.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's just like, oh my God, I just lost an
Time's
hour. Where'd it go? No place, just up there in the ethereal world. It's amazing. So well, that's cool. That's cool. So now Tierra del Sol Desert Safari itself, this is technically the 60th anniversary, right?
Well, it's technically the 61st because we had a 59th and a half.
Yeah,
Because it was a
right. So
do-over.
the 61st year, right?
Yeah.
But the official 60th anniversary.
Yes.
Now MetalCloak's been going there. Well, I was there for the 50th anniversary, which was incredible. So I think our first year, well, I actually back up a little bit. Rev 111, which is the company that became MetalCloak. It was some guys put together Rev 111. They built the company. They started it out. That was their backyard. They were based in Temecula. So Ocotillo Wells, Truck Heaven, that whole area was their backyard. And in 2006, they launched what we call the MetalCloak line of products. They launched those at TDS, and it was great fanfare, had all the setup and stuff. And then they kind of struggled with business. We bought them at the end of 2008, opened our doors January 5th, 2009. The rest is history. But since 2000, I don't think we did it in 2009 because we weren't quite in the event mode. But starting in 2010, we started going to TDS. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think we did 2009, but 2010 we started going, and then that led into the 50th anniversary, which was huge. That was like the first year I remember big, all the semi trucks lined up, fireworks going. I mean, it really like doubled the vendor space. It was incredible. And then it's kind of been a struggle ever since.
Well, yeah, COVID it did that, and then, you know, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of new laws and stuff that are really kind of putting a damper on things. You know, we've got a big challenge ahead of us. Is, you know, how do we want to go from here? You know, there was always three aspects of safari. There was the vendor show, there was the raffle, and then there was the trail. So, you know, first trying to find a place to host an event, something, you know, our magnitude is pretty tough. There's not a whole lot of places that'll do that. And of course, we're in California, so everything is a struggle. I mean, we have cost recovery that we're looking at for CHP, the Highway Patrol, for the sheriffs, for the state parks. We have the Air Quality Resource Board looking at, you know, the dust that we create. You know, there's a lot of things that we've got to go through to put on an event. So we have a big decision to make on how we're going to go forward. You know, we want those big three items back. We want the trail. We want the big raffle. We want the big vendor show, but it's going to cost. And of course, that's going to translate into higher costs for our participants. But
Right.
all that goes for a good cause. I mean, whatever money you give us, we turn around and give it back to keep the land open, you know?
Right. And I remember, getting up there, we mentioned Dell Albright earlier in the show, and Dell, Dell and Stacy up there getting checks for BRC, and, up on the stage, and all the work you guys were doing with veterans and everything else. And to give people an idea of this event, and we can kind of go back and describe it a little bit, but before we talk about the future, just talk about what it became, because one, I will say the raffle, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been to an event with a raffle, TDS one had anywhere from $125,000, $150,000 in products or something all there. But how they did it and how they went through it, it lasted maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I mean, it was super fast, super efficient, and it was big light up sign with the number. They just went boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was incredible. But this was the efficiency.
something like Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, I remember days when that raffle would take 7 hours. It would be midnight, and people were, their kids were falling asleep. And but I think the last
lucky.
I think the last time I was at TDS had to be about 10 years ago. I don't think it was the 50th. It may have been, I don't know, 2013, I think. But that event, like Matson said, and like you guys are talking about, this is a massive amount of people, and it's in a massive amount of area as well. So I'm guessing, I mean, the management of that, and I remember those, I went out there for a couple of years when I worked for a different manufacturer. It was, I don't even know how you could control it at all. And I think that was kind of the big issue, is it just kind of exploded.
Yeah. If you hear the stories that these guys tell, as I've been just asking a lot of questions, right? And it's amazing what they went through over the years, the trial and errors, and how to control people as they got bigger. How do you do that? And like Bill said, it takes a tremendous amount of planning, tremendous amount of resources. And I think, hundreds and maybe thousands of hours of time during the year just planning and getting this done. And to make it go as smooth as it is from a person that's just out there selling raffle tickets, and it's amazing, the planning and the stress that we're certainly not going through that this year as much as they did in years past, but my goodness, it's just amazing. And it's all for one thing, is to raise money to keep these deserts open, to keep our right to off-road, and to have a passion for that, and to look at 61 years of this happening for this type of event. It says a lot about the commitment of the members of this club, the commitment of the members of the team, and the community, right? Our sponsors like MetalCloak that are there helping pull those people in, because they're excited about the winning prizes. People love to win prizes, and people are there and once they get out there, the amount of fun you have is unbelievable. The notches, the hills, the sights, and just some of the great people, right? To meeting all those people, it's just been amazing what Tierra del Sol has done with Desert Safari, and bringing people like myself in after years and years of being out there and wanting to be part of it. It's just been incredible.
Well, and it was what I loved about it too. I mean, over the years it evolved and changed, but as a vendor, it was great because we'd go out there, and the vendor show really didn't start until about noon, 1 o'clock, right? It'd be in early times. So you'd actually get out as a vendor and you go wheeling in the morning. There was the vendor runs, or you just go do your own thing. I should go out and enjoy the trails in the morning, then come back, set up your booth, and get going. Now, over the years, it changed with more vendors going, well, I just want to have it. I want to be open the entire time, and the evolution that occurred. But it was great to hang out with our friends. We brought the CTI trailer. That was our very first time bringing the CTI trailer to an event and going, hey, check out this thing. Because you guys were using the RTI ramp at one point. And so we're like, no, let's not use the RTI ramp. Let's try this. So we brought our CTI ramp trailer out. Big success. Same one that Corey and Jessy travel the country with now. And it was cool to be able to do that and bring it out. But you had so many people. But let's be clear of something for everybody. I don't even know how many registrations you actually had for the event, but there was 20 times that in people that were just out there for that weekend. Several years ago, when I was there, I talked to the manager of the Jack in the Box that was there. And he said there's two big weekends, TDS weekend and like New Year's. Like those are two busiest times for that area. And that was when there was a lot more pressure on you guys to have to make changes. And it's unfortunate. And correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was that the forces that be, the CHP, BLM, everybody, were wanting you to be responsible as an organization for every soul that was out there that weekend, as
Right.
opposed to just the people registered for your event.
That is absolutely correct. We got a lot of bad press. Where we used to have headquarters was over off of North Marina Drive. It's 3 miles north of where we are now, but they have the notches, and the notches used to be a place where you could kind of go show off your articulation and the skills of your vehicle and the skills you're driving. Well, now it's just turned into a cluster, and people go over there at night and they're drinking, and we get all the bad press from that. There's people get hurt over there.
Insanity.
We try to stay away from that. We don't want anything to do with
Everybody should see that once in their life.
Yes.
But only once.
Yeah.
Go there, observe, and then quietly walk away.
If you can walk away.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the ugly part of it, is that they see it as we're responsible. Listen, if we didn't show up the first weekend of March, those people would still be there, and we would still be blamed for anything bad that happened. And of course, they don't see the good stuff that we do at all.
No, and it's
Well,
it's just. Go ahead, Corey.
This is part of, I think, what all of the large events, the very successful events all around the country, we've seen it happen in the West, maybe a little bit more so, just because back East, you're talking about private properties and things like that. So there is a little bit more ability to control something, but huge events are they get too big to control, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we talk about King of the Hammers, which we just had a last couple of podcasts talking about it, and it's becoming more known. It's becoming a bigger event. Last year, having 200,000 people out in that area, it becomes a mess. And my fear is that as we go forward, you guys as a club, event coordinators, they don't even want to. It's kind of hard. It's like, oh, here we go again. We're going to have to put this event together, and we just want to get to the other side. Hopefully we get all to the other side with no real catastrophes or bad press or people getting hurt. And you can try and control it the best you can, but like you said, Bill, the authorities want you guys are responsible for everybody. Like Dave Cole is responsible for everybody that's near King of the Hammers. Like it's not realistic.
Not
Yet
feasible.
everybody wants to point a finger too. So
It's a vicious cycle, we do this because we want to raise money. So we don't limit the amount of registration so we can make more money. But some of the funnest events we go to are smaller events, maybe they have 200 registrants or something, or even less than that, and maybe we'll start limiting our registrations. Who knows what we're going to do, but we've got to be able to manage it. Maybe those days of like 100+ vendors are not in our future. Who knows? But the heyday, the 50th and beyond, those were some of the best safaris because the vendors were there to support it. We had the huge raffle that we did get through, pretty efficiently. And started promptly at 7 p.m.
Right. Well, it's a great sight when you just start seeing people in the Jeep start parking, especially when you're a vendor there, right? And the Jeeps start parking and they start parking and they start parking and all the people are coming down and they're bringing their lawn chairs and they're the practice members and they got the lawn chairs set up. The kids got their lawn chairs and everybody's sitting down ready to go. And then it starts and the raffle starts and you get the big stage and the production value is incredible. Now, but it's all the volunteers. I mean, you have an incredible number of people coordinating. My first time showing up, right? I probably was in touch with Wayne and I'm driving in. Okay, where do I need to go? Whose door do I, because I always show up late after hours, after normal times. And whose door do I need to knock on, or where am I going to park in the middle of no place and try to figure it out. But you guys just had the volunteers that are there working and doing stuff to make it seem, as you said, David, so smooth. That from an event coordinator myself, it's just an incredible thing to be able to do that and have it seem smooth to everybody, so they don't run into problems, and they just get to go and enjoy themselves.
Well, so let me point out that our club is limited to 50 family memberships. So there's only 50 family memberships that we offer, and within that,
Wow.
50 family membership, there's we have members that are very, very old that they can't come up and help. So really, it's only a handful of people that do this event, and we do have support from other clubs. They help out with volunteering and stuff like that. But it's amazing how we can do it.
Well, so I'm going to touch on that for a second. Why the limitation? Why 50 family memberships? What brought that about?
We're a tight club. We are very tight. The members of our club are family to us, and if we open it up to like an internet club or anything, that you lose that family feeling. And when we go out wheeling as a club, we don't have any problems on the trail. If we do, it's handled quickly, and we get off the trail in a decent amount of time. It's we have some trails that it's just horrible. I mean, the trail is just very, very difficult, and that takes time to go and do. But if you have people that their vehicles are prepped right and they have the right equipment on them and they know how to drive, you can go have fun on a trail with really no worries. So that's kind of why we limit it. I mean, all guests are always welcome on any of our runs, but we just limit it, and it also makes our membership a little bit more exclusive. So I know members that have had to wait for 2-3 years for an opening to come up to become a member. So it means more to them, if they have to work for it.
That's awesome.
It does. It takes a couple of years to even become a member, because if you do everything that you're supposed to be part of it, it's about helping each other out and giving back to the community. So it's once I started getting in it, once I really started looking at what they needed, it took 3 years or so, 4 years to get to know everybody and them to like you. And not that there's nothing to like about me, but it takes a little while. Right?
So now I got to ask. So I know like there's some clubs up here that have some pretty interesting initiation processes, right? So what is the Tierra del Sol initiation?
Well, as long as there's no kids around, alcohol is always a great way to kind of grease the skids. But no, we don't have anything crazy. We have requirements. You got to go on a few runs with us. Some overnights are required, so we can sit around the fire with you and kind of get to know you and see if you're going to fit. And you got to come to some meetings. And our membership dues we raised for the first time in probably 40 years this year. So our membership dues are incredibly small. So, I mean,
but you have to participate. You're doers.
You do. Yeah. We are a do club.
We are, and I raised my hand to be the refreshment czar. So I brought my wife in to help me. So every meeting once a month, I gotta lug the coffee and water and stuff. But that's what it's about, right? Everybody takes turns doing something for the meetings, and we have 2 meetings a month, one for the membership and then one for the board and stuff to make that decision. So it's active. That's how active it is. Just not sitting back looking on Facebook and really want everybody to participate. And that's how it happens, right? And we, like I said, we spend all year. I think as soon as this safari is over, we'll start talking about next one in a couple months. So just what to do next.
I'm taken away by that's such an. I think so many of the community, the Jeep industry, we're all about big, right? Like our club's have 10,000 members or 300 members or whatever that number is, and that's what we want to tell people about. And I think it's really cool to go the other way and go, you know what? Our club isn't very big, but everybody's very involved in it. And I think that's a much more special, tight-knit group that gets things done, rather than going, yeah, we have people all over the country and they all send in $50 a year and we send them a sticker.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you want to raise $50 for every member, that's great. But do you know any of those people? No. And now there's a bunch of people around the country running your club sticker as, whatever it is, an associate member. I get it, but are they really involved? No, they just wanted the sticker.
It's funny, we run down Jeeps every once in a while that have our club plaques on it, and we have to find out the history of it, who owned it, what club member was it, I mean, we were just talking about it this past weekend. We were doing our pre-run, and we found this old Jeep. We had to know. I mean, we still don't know exactly whose member Jeep it was, but we're running it down.
Cool. Kind of fun.
That is cool. That is cool. Now, I heard a number, and you can tell me if it's right or wrong, that in the heyday, when you're dealing with, the stuff was still going on, you still had the whole between the fenced area. I mean, guys, for those that are listening, at one point it was simply construction fencing that kind of set the barrier as to where the vendor area was, and then the powers that be, the authorities, decided that they wanted you to control it better, or there was some sort of control going on there, so you had to put up chain link fencing, which in and of itself is not that cheap when you're talking about having chain link fencing set up for the vast area that was in. But the number I heard was something like $50,000 in cost to the club to be higher than that. I'm saying I'm getting a thumbs up. So what was the actual, in a given year, what was your budget? What was your cost to put on that event?
It's over $100,000.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, just for the fencing alone, the first year we had it was $6,000. And then you add in security, and then you add in the fees that we have to pay to state parks, and all the cost recovery, and, all the little, rentals that we have. I mean, we had like 25 light towers that we had to rent, and, I mean, toilets and tents and you name it.
Well, the permit alone is $40,000 to $50,000.
Yeah, so I was thinking the $50,000 alone was just what you had to pay just to the government to
Correct.
be able to help cover all of their costs or what they're doing. But again, that's because I imagine that had gone up from when they originally were, when you were just out there doing your event versus when they decided you're responsible for every soul that's out there.
Correct. Well, I mean, that responsibility for every soul has been kind of a thing for probably the last 10 years. We just weren't really aware of it until they kind of broke it to us that, what's this going on over here? And we go, we don't know. And he go, well, that's your guys' stuff. It's your weekend. So
wow,
it's incredible.
Well, on the one hand, you guys must feel great to have such an impact that you've created an event where so many people come out and be a part of it. Because obviously, the vendor show, right? You didn't have to be a member to be in the to go walk through the vendor show, right? You could just be somebody out there who's attending who wants to just see the vendor show, and all the vendors loved it because there were so many people out there,
and they were your people. I mean, the vendor. I mean, that's a target audience, right?
Right. Everybody except for the guys going around in the side by sides with the 1,000-watt speakers blasting. I can still hear it in the back of my ears. Mariachi bands going on at 1,000
product development. Maybe some product development for side by sides.
yeah. How about I just want muffles.
Yeah.
But it was that was incredible. I mean, it really was an incredible event. That all that stuff. So let's talk about, obviously, was it 3 years ago? Was it
COVID?
what was a year before COVID that you guys moved, or was it 2 years before?
Well, yeah, we bounced around a couple of times.
That's right, because you moved over to that camping area that had and that was, what year was that?
Man, I'm horrible with years, but that was 2 years before COVID broke out. So
that would have been, it was that like
19.
19
so, or 20 or something. Yeah.
So 18, imagine it's around 18. That was an interesting year because you guys had you basically got this campground, a private campground. You got this field that was there. You brought in rocks for rock crawling. You had a mud bog going. I mean, that was actually kind of fun because we went over there. I actually tried to spot somebody through the rocks, and they were not listening to me at all. And I got walked away just before they were about to roll over. If you don't listen, I'm not going to help you. And it was too bad because one of our customers had our products on. I'm like, hey, I'll help you out here. I'm like, okay, I'm walking away. I'll let you figure it out. But it was incredible. And that was right off of the lake too. So you had camping down by the water, and that was a fun year. But then you went from there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that whole area. I mean, we built that months and months and months out there every weekend. Putting that together. that was after we built a training area in Ocotillo Wells at the state parks. You know,
Right.
we had put together this one. Little Rich Klein helped us build it, and the state parks trail crews built that nice training center. It's fun to play in. We did that afterwards. So had that event, and then we moved over to a city park, and that's when it was in. It was completely fenced there as well, which was nice. But that event happened, and as soon as we had that event, COVID hit and shut everything down. So
right.
we
So
were
that was 19. You did it. I think you did it in 19, and you did it 2 years at the park, right?
Right.
2 years at the park. So
I
19.
think, yes.
Right, because I remember 19, and we were there 19, because we had the CTI trailer right outside the gate,
Yep.
and we then did 20, and then I left from there in 20 and drove up to Lone Pine and joined Corey and Jessy in Death Valley.
Yep.
And while we're doing Death Valley, we get done with Death Valley. There's this thing called coronavirus going on while we were gone.
Yeah.
It was a classic scenario, being in the middle of no place and then showing up and the world's changed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So since then, you know, it's been a very small event. We've had our t-shirt booth set up at, you know, down in Salton City for the last 2 years. And, you know, you guys were out last year with the trailer and having fun. So this year we're going to kick it up a little bit, you know, try to get back kind of closer to what we used to be. Vendor area is, you know, going to be across the highway, a little kitty corner from the gas station there. And we're going to have we have a t-shirt store, so it's indoors. It's kind of protected from the W. We call that the thing that a breeze, because we don't say that W word because it's bad.
I thought you guys actually somehow paid for that to be at least one day at the event. Like,
we actually paid for it to not be there.
Oh my goodness!
We never get a refund.
I still tell the stories of I was only out there for a couple years, and I kept thinking, what is the deal with that W thing going on? And yeah, it's crazy out there. One day usually.
Oh yeah. Tried running the CTI trailer, and you got my employees all wearing they're wearing goggles. They got the mask on, right? Masks before masks were cool, and and just trying to run the trailers. And although it's the greatest giveaway, it was always the greatest giveaway. Those companies that had brought out the little neck gaiters with a little bit face covering, they were all over the place. You saw their brand everywhere. I think Best Top had one that they gave out, and Falcon had one they gave out. It was everywhere.
Listen, we used to have just a trailer for a stage, and we put a plywood back to it, so we put, you know, vendor sponsored stickers and stuff up there, and their all their stuff. And one year it blew so hard at the raffle that everybody in the raffle was turned around backwards, facing away from the stage, because the wind was coming straight from the stage.
Oh wow!
About 10 club members were up there with our backs against it, so the stage wouldn't blow over.
But they don't leave. They want that prize, and that's the best part about it. When
they want the prize,
and everybody waiting for the
that
number
year,
to recall.
Yeah, that's awesome.
True. We did it no matter what. We went on, you know, but tents were flying away. And
it would be a riot if you had to cancel the raffle for some reason.
Oh no, it would be a riot. Yes,
it would be. And if I understand it, everybody who registers gets one raffle tickets, right?
That's the way it has been in the past. And you know, so you register, it got you on the trail, and it gave you one raffle ticket to the main grand prize. I mean, the main raffle. So. Yes, so it was a limited number of tickets that we sent out to our raffle.
But were there buckets too that you could buy extra tickets for and do the whole bucket thing?
We did have those big ticket items that were bucket raffle prizes, and you could buy tickets just for that. And you could spend as much money as you wanted on those.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a little different this year. We actually don't have a trail this year, but we do have a raffle prize. So you buy a raffle ticket and you're entered into the drawing. So COVID changed a lot of things. So as we're gearing back up, trying to understand what we can do, what we can't do. So no trail. But there's plenty of wheeling out there, right? It's unbelievable. You got acres and miles and unbelievable. But
so are there registration fees to be a part of the, or is it just go out and buy stuff and support by buying shirts, support by supporting the raffles? That
is correct. Yep. Our t-shirts are a big deal. They're world famous. Everybody loves them. They usually buy, you know, 3 or 4 or 7, and you know,
all the different colors.
all different colors, all different styles. And we have a great partner that works the t-shirts. He's the same guy that does the stuff for KOH. You know, we do have a raffle. That's how we're gonna, you know, raise our money this year.
Yeah, we got at least $50,000 in raffle prizes right now going out. So it's not as big as the heyday, but we got a lot of great sponsors. MetalCloak being one of them for sure. So thank you.
We have a $5,000 gift certificate.
Yeah,
guys, it's straight up $5,000. It's like a $5,000 shopping spree on our website. So
come check that out.
Do you have to be there to support the raffle? Do you have to go there? How can you get raffle tickets?
So you buy the raffle tickets at Safari at our headquarters, and then Sunday we'll do the raffle. You don't have to be present. This is what we tried last year. It kind of worked out. It's a little different type of work for us. We're not used to doing it this way, but we want everybody to have that opportunity to win something. So
I actually think this is a really good, what you guys have done. What a great thing to kind of reinvent the event. COVID kind of gave you an opportunity to go, hey, okay, we can't be responsible for everybody. So what does that look like going forward? And how can we better still have a quote unquote an event, but let people kind of do things on their own. You guys don't have to be responsible for them, and then focus on what it is the club wants to do in the first place. So actually, I think it's a good idea.
And that's raising money too, right? I mean, really, the raffle prizes, it's to raise money to keep trails open. So we donate it to the organizations that fight to keep the trails open. We don't necessarily do it, but we're the ones raising money and helping out. So I think that's what's really important about this whole event. Just not only come see the vendors and the sponsors, and come get some food. There's food vendors. We have a ton of food vendors out there. We got all the nonprofits are out there, kind of that support the the off-road community. They're out there, and just tons of sponsors that are going to be set up out there, showing off their wares and gear, and pick some stuff up. Really, and for everybody that's listening, come out and support the people that show up, the sponsors that are going to be there, because that's really what it's all about. Get to learn a little bit more about the off-road community. If you don't know, there's going to be every kind of imaginable off-roader there. So ask questions if you're just new to the sport, or if you're an old dog like I'm becoming. You can give advice to the younger crowds on what to do and how to support the off-road community.
So now the location, as I understand it, the new location is building right on the corner, right? It's right across the way from the service station and the Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll give you an address in a minute, but I'll look that up while we're talking.
It's called Sand Style. What Bill's getting the address. Sand Style there are t-shirt vendors, so they have a store that's set up. They're open on the weekends. They'll be in that parking lot. It's a white building. They just redid it all. It's really, really cool. So we'll have the vendors all parked up over there in the parking lot along the frontage road there. You're not going to be able to miss it if you're sitting at the Chevron gas station. It's literally catty corner. So that's awesome. You'll see the sign there. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited. It's bigger than the last 2 years. We're excited to really get everything re-engaged and get the excitement back that's kind of that feels a little away, but it's been tough for every organization, whether it's been Easter Jeep Safari, anybody that's had to modify what you're doing. But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good time.
Well, it is. I mean, the amount of money you guys are spending on BLM and everything else, I think you guys will actually be raising more money that actually can go directly to the cause, as opposed to just to spend $100,000 bill for an event, or $50,000 in permit fees, right? So being able to do that and take it to the next level and be very specific to your event, your fundraising, what you're doing, and start having these, I can see a future where maybe you're not having specific runs, but there's no reason why, for instance, ModernJeeper couldn't go out there and say, hey, ModernJeeper is going to head up a run. Nothing to do with you guys. We're just doing it that day, right? We're just gonna take some guys out for a run, some of our favorite trails, and the vendors too. Having the vendors just take people out for their favorite trails.
That's a great idea.
That's not affiliated with you, but it's because I know Tony and myself and so many other vendors that have been out there, and there's some great runs. And I love whenever I would go out there. One of the first things I would do is I would just take people over to the pumpkin patch.
Yep.
right? And then from there, I try to get lost. I mean, it's just right, and just go around. And it's just there's some great trails out there for all different skill levels, and to let the vendors and those go out there and do it as, hey, this is just something we're doing to help people do it. So it's not affiliated. You're not trying to do some big organized runs, but everybody gets a chance to see parts of this area.
Now there are some rules to that. So, before you go plan a run, I mean, this is just, I'm a stickler for the rules,
That's okay. So are we. Well, so is Corey. I'm not. Corey's my rule.
Yes, I'm
enforcer.
a permit guy. So
okay, good. So you can't advertise the run,
right?
And it can't be more than 25 vehicles. So that's
okay. That's okay. 10 vehicles or less. I don't want to organize. I don't want to have 25 vehicles following me. That's 25 more vehicles seeing how badly I wheel. So I don't want.
The one other thing I want to say about the vendor show too is, our vendor show was so large. It was kind of like Off-Road Expo in Pomona, and I know there's one in Arizona too. But people like me that wanted stuff for their rig went there to first off meet the people that make this stuff and kind of get a deal, So, it's really about making the sales.
Bill, you just, we are showing our age, because I was going to bring up that I think that one of the things that the industry is missing out on, and Jessy and I are very lucky, we get to see kind of both sides of the industry. And we were just at the Keystone show, which a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't even know that show existed. We want to go. No, that's a wholesale distribution group, just like Meyer, just like Transamerica was. And so we get to see a lot of the products. And I think that some of these shows, when I first started Jeeping, Easter Jeep Safari, it was cool to go to Moab, but I really wanted to meet the manufacturers, meet the people who were selling stuff, because we really didn't have a lot of the internet then. And I wanted to see the parts. I wanted to talk to somebody about why I should use something or why I needed something. And I think we miss that in a lot of cases anymore, whereas the vendors are there to have those conversations. So I think this is really, really important for especially a new Jeeper to go out and go, we all get emails, we can all shop online, but unless you get to talk to somebody and go, will this even work with what I want to do? I think that's huge to be able to go out and talk to the manufacturers.
That, and the other thing is that we all kind of become friends. And, when we go to some of these shows, it's like a reunion. We get to see friends we haven't seen in a while. And, for us little guys meeting the manufacturers of these parts, you guys to us are like off-road royalty. We get a little starstruck,
Yeah.
And so
don't tell him that.
Don't
tell him that.
All right. Well,
yeah, that's
into
it.
this.
There we go.
But it's true, I mean, you guys might not know it, but and in the beginning when we first meet you, man, this is cool. I met the guy or the gal, and then we become friends. And
I'm still that way with most of them. Like, hey, Jim at Dynatrack, talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Building my Jeep I have now, it's a product of going to different shows or going to Safari, right? I mean, Safari's cost me $100,000. I got to tell you personally, just because every year I go there, I either got to buy a Jeep or a side by whatever it is, right? I mean, it's cost me money, but the products I use on my Jeep is because I'm at the shows and I'm touching like rock hard bumpers and just whatever it is. It's everything is because I'm at events, and that's what's really, really cool about it. You get to pick it up and touch it and talk to the people that make it.
Well, it was the same way for us when we first got in the business, right? We didn't have relationships with any of these vendors. It was TDS was where I went around and started building relationships. It's where I became really friends with James at Rock Hard. It's where I became friends with Jim. It's where I became friends with with Larry at Poison Spider. I mean, that was the event to do it because the environment was good for hanging out. Like it wasn't boom, 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 rush. You're not inside of a building. You don't have all this other stuff. It was good for hanging out. And there was always time to hang out because most of the guys are camping nearby or camping down or have some sort of compound or have a fire going in their booth. I mean, it was really nicely designed that way.
The other thing is too that, it also fostered new businesses. When I met Tony, he had an Easy Up, a blue tarp, and a gas tank sitting on it, you know? And
right.
now he's Genrite, you know, he sells everything under the sun, you know. But you know, I mean,
we started out, and you had in the year we first went there, you guys had the white vendor spaces that were pre-done.
Yep.
We had a little 10 by 20 and
Yep.
a 10 by 20 spot. And it was funny because we stayed late because we saw all the people lining up and sitting down, like, well, we're going to stay in our booth, keep it going a little bit, right? They weren't interested. The moment they're sitting down to go to do the vendor show, they're not coming and talking to you. But I'll also say that there's a famous thread out there. It's on JK Owners. And JK, that thread is just known as the thread. And it was started because somebody mentioned that they bought some of our control arms. This was when we were just getting into suspension. And then another company kind of made a kind of a rude comment about that because we were just getting into suspension, and that thing blew up. And I think it's like several hundred posts now, and it's you know, pages and pages. It's what it kind of put us on the map when it came to suspension because so many people looked at it, and we joke about the thread, and it's just one of a part of our history. But that happened because of TDS. I was at TDS when that particular guy who started the thread came by, and we were talking about control arms and talking about our control arms, and suggested he try ours out. And you know, try them out, just try them. And he did. He posted about it, and it grew from there. That was kind of the beauty. It was also my favorite place to just drive fast because I just love going through the washes at probably excessive speeds. But you know, so it's got the place. It just got a lot of memories. I just love the area. I just love everything about that. And I'm glad to see that it's surviving. You know, we're just gonna have to figure out how to make it even bigger and better.
Well, maybe not bigger, but better. Definitely.
There you go.
Yeah. Make it better. That's right. Good things come in small packages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
You know, the vendor show is always cool. I mean, if we have the space, that's easy to put together. I mean, it's hard work, but you know, if we build it, they will come. You know, I mean, and COVID has kind of knocked some vendors out. That but we are very appreciative to all of our vendors, and
acquisition has knocked some vendors out. I'm sure it's a little hard to get some of the vendors now that, you know, whether it's Dynatrack or Carly or any of the guys out there, they're now owned by bigger and better bigger companies. I know it's better, but so yeah, it was just fun with the thread. Okay, so let's get back a little personal. And all your years out there. So David, what's your favorite trail?
Oh my gosh. You know, we have this trail that we take. We start on the other side of the Ocotillo because I camp out there a lot. And we go through past Shell Reef, and we head all the way out to Phone Booth out there. It's through the mountains there. It's not necessarily a trail, but just the different terrains you can go through. And it takes about a 6-hour round trip to get from one side of the desert to the other, and that's pretty exciting because you pack your lunch and you head out for hours and hours and hours, and the goal is to get to the phone booth, which is out there by Dusty. So that's pretty neat to do. We do it a couple times a year on the bigger weekends. We take family out there, really great family trip. You know, I like Tectonic Gorge is a really neat one, really fun trail. It gets a little technical sometimes. There's some almost untouched trails because if you stay off the main roads, it's so beautiful out there. Without a lot of traveling. So hidden gems for sure.
That's the beauty of just going out and getting lost out there. Like, hey, let's try this little section. And if you've got a decent rig, you can go do it and not be concerned about where you're going. Because for the most part, you know, your average rig can get through most of the stuff that's out there. And then that's great. So how about you, Bill? Now that you're back with us.
And I'm the right side up, and do I have an echo?
No, we're good. We're good.
All right. I didn't roll. Okay. I've never rolled. So anyhow, so
I'll knock on wood for you.
Yeah. Thanks. All of Truckhaven, which is north of the S2, and west of the Highway 86. So that's where we used to have Safari. That's where our headquarters was. That's where I love the most. You know, the trails are, you know, you can get most places in a stock vehicle, and man, I'm going to get it from all you vendor guys. I should have left my vehicle stock because I had more fun trying to get through things stock than I did when after I lifted it.
There's truth to that. There's truth to that.
But I got to tell you, it's fun to go through the twisties and get all twisted up in those washes. But there's some absolutely beautiful places over in Truck Haven. We normally used to camp what we call the bluffs, and it's up above Truck Haven, and you look down at all these badlands, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And you drop down, and you have all the wheeling you can. It's a very unique area. The mud hills are somewhat easy on your Jeep. If you flip it on the side, you're not going to like scrape it and completely destroy it. It's just going to have some scrapes and maybe some little dents that you might be able to pull out. But I just absolutely love it. That was our background, a backyard for years and years, and there's as much challenge as you want, and there's flatlands too, and that's my favorite area is all of Truck Haven.
Well, it's kind of like Sand Hollow too, in that there's trails and there's roads, but it's not like the heavily restricted way it would be in, say, Moab. Like, for the most part, stay on the trails because that's good, but you're not going to have, if you cut across some other area or see some other little obscure place to go play, or even to try to climb up a side hill, right? You go through the washes and it's like, hey, I want to see if I can make it up this, right? There's still a bit of free spirit out there too. And that's what I loved about it.
Yep, that is true.
It is. And for everybody, we always, when we go, if we take an alternate road, we always try to avoid the bushes, avoid the ocotillos, avoid the shrubbery. And right now it's so beautiful because the flowers are blooming. So we try not to run over the flowers, although there's a lot of them. So, you just follow those rules and you can have an amazing time, because those mud hills, they don't have a lot on the top. But you can get up there and get yourself your heart starts pumping. We did a trail ride this weekend, and there was a couple areas where I actually scratched my mirror. Thanks, Bill. It's following Bill through this. And I got a 4-door, right? And everybody else has got 2 doors. And I get through, and it just, now my mirror scratched a little bit. My wife is screaming because, it's right up against her side. Her face is, an inch away from the wall, and my fenders got scratched. So I guess I need new fenders.
Well, there you go. I know a guy. It is amazing though. And Corey, you back me up on this, but you look at that and it just looks like dirt walls.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I have done the same thing. I went through in our 4-door JK through one of the arch, the little arch down below. You're going through there and the washing the arch, and I was just a little bit too tight on it. Right. Hardtop versus the mud out there.
Yeah.
And the hardtop loses. And I was surprised, like, oh, it's just going to crumble off a little bit. No. Hardtop got a nice big scratch in it because I was just too close to it. And you got
it scratched. It didn't crush though. If you would have hit
scratched.
It with a rock, it'd been different.
Yeah, it scratched it up, but it was still. I don't know. I can go on and on about how much fun, all the stories I've had out there, and there's nothing greater than that feeling you get, especially at night when you're going up and up some hill. And you don't have, the invention of rock lights had to be out there, because that was the lights that you see over, because looking and going, okay, what's on the other side of this thing that I'm about to go down this big old hill? I mean, it's just fun.
You can't see it during the day, let alone at night.
Yeah.
If anybody has anything on their bucket list, and they've got a bucket list of places to wheel, Truck Haven, Ocotillo Wells needs to be on your bucket list. You need to go out there. Whether you go out during an event like this one coming up, or you just want to go out there and enjoy it, get out there. It ranks up there with Moab. It ranks up there with Sand Hollow. It ranks up there with some of the best areas to wheel and the most interesting terrain I think you're ever gonna wheel. So
and if you want, get a hold of a TDS member. We'll go wheeling with you.
There you go. Well, speak of that, how do people reach out to the club, to the organization, to you guys?
TDS4x4.com, or we're on Facebook. We have an open group on Facebook. You can join and it's just Tierra del Sol 4-Wheel Drive Club of San Diego.
Excellent. Well,
and
the event is March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which is coming up here in about a week and a half. I think it's about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's coming up pretty quickly.
Yes. And you got to get out there. Can they buy t-shirts online or just at the event?
Yep. Right now you can buy them online, and you can buy them out there as well. Buy them often and buy many.
Buy more, buy often. All right. So they can buy the t-shirts, they can buy the raffle tickets, and they can do all that through the website. And that, again, what was the website?
TDS 4x4.com. 4x4.com.
4x4.com. Okay.
Right.
You heard it, guys. TDS4x4.com. Out there, support it. This is a great event, and
Yeah, it's
they
great.
do incredible work with the funds they raise. So just another one on the docket to be able to do it. And I really appreciate you guys coming out and joining us.
Thank you.
Corey, anything else you want to bring in, Corey? Before
Well, I heard that they weren't going to pay for the wind to come this year, so there's going to be none of that, and that's going to be awesome. I mean, now I'm kind of wishing that we were probably headed down there. Maybe,
we could.
yeah,
just
well,
go
you
down
could
that
come
way.
early. It's only 7 hours between Beatty and there, so
right? Just
yeah. What's
On your
that?
way.
What's
I
that?
haven't been down there yet, so I would love.
You know, you should, because I'm torn because I kind of need to go to TDS and I kind of need to go to Death Valley, but then I have these other things that are saying I can't go. So right now, Mike and Will are going down to TDS. Danny may join them for the go down there. So and then of course Aaron's going up and joining you at Death Valley. But so you might want to just kind of swing down by there and
the last time, and I'll be honest. Last time I was at TDS, I worked for Tony. Worked at Genrite for a couple of years, and I think the last time I was down there, I didn't get out of the RV for 2 days. The wind was that bad, and I think I got some food poisoning or something, as I recall. And I just remember in my mind going, I can't go back.
It's not always like that.
It's been a long time ago, so now I'm kind of jonesing. Now I kind of want to go back.
Well, and I tell you, and I'm sure you got some great food vendors, but the Mexican restaurant across the road there, across the S2 or whatever that is, that's the best little hole in the wall space. There aren't a lot of restaurants. Let's be honest. There aren't a lot of restaurants.
No, there's not.
Jack in the Box. There's that Mexican restaurant, and you go into the casino. You might think there's something good, but they haven't figured that part out either.
That little Mexican restaurant, the Alamo, is right behind our T-shirt store, the Sand Style.
Oh, wow.
It's walking distance, and I can guarantee if you come down, we'll eat the same food you do, and we'll treat you really, really well. So if we get sick, we're going to get sick together. All right.
Nice.
We're all in it together.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, my friends. Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, thank you for joining us. David and Bill, thanks for joining us. This has been a great show. Modern Jeepers, I can reach out to them. Make sure to go to TDS4x4.com. And of course, you can reach me, Matson at MetalCloak.com, Corey at MetalCloak.com, and Jessy at MetalCloak.com for if you have any questions or you want to reach out to us. And of course, Modern Jeeper Adventures, because registration for Moab, which is happening Memorial Weekend, is open. And I've already seen it load up, guys. So if you want to be a part of it, you better register quickly.
We haven't even advertised it.
This is the first time you're talking about it. It goes live and suddenly it's just like boom, 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 boom. Registration's coming in. So make sure to get on board with that one. And that being said, Corey, Jessy, anything else?
No.
All right.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate
it, guys. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Friends, we'll see you on the trail.
Cheers.
See ya.